Welcome. Today, we dive into the fascinating world of Russian translations of Homer, Iliad. Over centuries, this epic has inspired poets and translators to experiment with language, style, and meter. Two major figures stand out. E.I. Kostrov, who translated the Iliad in the 18th century, and A.I. Lyubzhin, a modern philologist who recently continued Kostrov's work. But how similar are their translations, really? Using stylometry, a scientific method for analyzing writing style, we'll explore the differences and similarities between these two monumental efforts. Let's set the stage for a literary investigation that bridges centuries and uncovers the hidden fingerprints of authorship. First, let's meet our main characters. E.I. Kostrov was an 18th-century Russian poet who translated the first 8 books of the Iliad using Alexandrine verse, a poetic form popular in his era. Fast forward to the 21st century, and we have A.I. Lyubzhin, a scholar deeply invested in classical traditions. Lyubzhin picked up where Kostrov left off, translating the rest of the Iliad in the same meter. While both used Alexandrine verse, their works are separated by more than 2 centuries of linguistic evolution. This sets up a perfect scenario to test whether style and language have truly changed, or if tradition can bridge the gap. Why does meter matter? In the 18th century, Alexandrine verse, 6-foot iambic lines with paired rhymes, was the go-to form for epic poetry in Russia. Kostrov's translation followed this tradition. But in the 19th century, translators like Gnedich and Zhukovsky broke with tradition, choosing Russianhexameter to better mimic Homer's original Greek. This shift wasn't just about rhythm, it reflected changing ideas about how to bring ancient texts to life in Russian. Lyubzhin, however, returned to the Alexandrine form, raising the question, does using an old meter make his translation feel old-fashioned, or does his modern language shine through? Now let's introduce stylometry, the science of measuring writing style. Stylometry uses statistical analysis to detect patterns in word usage, sentence structure, and more. One popular method is Burrows Delta, which compares the frequency of the most common words across texts. By focusing on function words like and, but, in, stylometry can reveal an author's unique fingerprint, even when they try to imitate another style. This makes it a powerful tool for authorship attribution, literary history, and even detecting stylistic shifts over time. Compare Kostrov and Lyubzhin. Researchers built a digital corpus of Russian epic poetry. This included Kostrov's and Lyubzhin's Iliad translations, Gnedich's and Zhukovsky's hexameter versions, Kheraskov's Russiada, and Palitsyn's translation of the tale of Igor's campaign. Each text was divided into large segments to ensure reliable statistical analysis. Only the most frequent words were counted, and all texts were standardized in spelling. This careful preparation ensures that the results reflect genuine stylistic differences, not just superficial quirks. The corpus ready, the delta method was applied. For each segment, the frequency of the top 100 or 200 words was calculated and compared. The result? Delta values show how similar or different each text is from the others. Lower delta means greater similarity, higher delta means more difference. When visualized as a dendrogram, a kind of family tree, texts by the same author cluster together, proving the method's reliability. But the real surprise comes when we look at how the clusters form across different translators and eras. The dendrograms revealed something unexpected. Instead of clustering by meter, Alexandrine versus hexameter, the texts grouped by historical era. Kostrov, Kheraskov, and Palitsyn formed one cluster, representing the 18th century tradition. Gnedich, Zhukovsky, and Lyubzhin formed another, representing the 19th century and beyond. This means that Lyubzhin's translation, despite using an old-fashioned meter, is stylistically closer to modern poets than to his 18th century predecessor. The language, not the meter, is what truly sets the translations apart. To make the results even clearer, researchers used multidimensional scaling, a technique that plots texts on a 2-dimensional graph based on their delta distances. The result? A clear gap between the archaists and the innovators. Lyubzhin's translation sits firmly with the moderns, showing that his language is contemporary, even if his form is not. This visualization highlights how stylometry can uncover hidden patterns in literary history and challenge our assumptions about what makes a text feel old or new. In summary, stylometry shows that A.I. Lyubzhin's Iliad translation is not a mere imitation of Kostrov's 18th century style. Despite using the same meter, Lyubzhin's language is modern, placing him alongside 19th century innovators like Gnedich and Zhukovsky. This suggests that language evolves more rapidly than poetic form, and that even the most traditional-sounding translations can speak in a contemporary voice. Stylometry, with its scientific rigor, helps us see beyond surface similarities and appreciate the subtle evolution of literary style. Thanks for joining this journey through Russian Homeric translation and the science of literary analysis.